Don's getting busy with Jules first thing this morning. He had said he wanted to work on the windows, the glass some more. You know, he had to kind of rush into the garage last night, and there's not a lot of room to move around either car in the garage, so he's got out his window cleaner, his detailing cleaner. There's no sun up here on the pad yet this morning, and so he's going to work on the glass a little bit. I haven't even got all the cats fed yet. This was the packing stuff Don got out of the inside, you know, hinge area of the driver's door. Don said to come hop in the car, but he didn't tell me where we were headed.
Yeah, but
except that he's got a plan. Well, you've put in someplace, but
Jules knows.
But I don't know. Am I allowed to look?
Oh,
Am I allowed to, will I be able? Will it be beneficial to me? Will I know where it is?
Nope, but you need to do the round trip thing.
Clinton,
oh,
huh?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to Clinton.
And round trip says no problem.
Right. That's why I said we could go along a roundabout way and go that way. And, you know, it's just, this is 5 o'clock traffic. I would prefer not to hit a supercharger today because we have, I think we have a 6:30 call tonight. So it's Tuesday, and so I don't know. We probably need to be home by 6:30, and going that direction through that Fayetteville traffic could be problematic. So I was actually going to head towards Newton Grove. The Google did a couple different routes. The one I chose, of course, the navigation throws it away.
Right.
But Google Navigate gave me an alternate to go through from Bowie's Creek over to
Benson,
and then to Newton Grove. And
so
then
more
down.
the northeast loop.
Right, and then
easterly loop.
We could come 421 back because that's going to be a much faster. This is going to be the little bit more scenic route, and we're not in a hurry to get there.
Okay.
Okay, we might be in a hurry to get home because we get, like I said, we got a 6:30. We got plenty of time. I mean, 3.5 hours should do it here.
We're mostly just driving.
We're mostly just
Don said I didn't need to worry about being out in the sun on the other end too much.
Yeah, we're not gonna. I did put the unicycle in because it was really more of just to have it in there to see how it was going to work. And so I've already come up with a couple of things I'm going to need to think about with carrying the unicycle around.
Yeah, and I've got the Tesla caching cars with us just in case because we still have some of them to deploy to.
Right.
So I found our Xbox controller. I guess I forgot we've got some in the garage now, but I found one in Johnny's green room, his game room. And it has a rechargeable battery, so I'm charging it up. It's actually plugged in the back there, so maybe I can try the beach buggy racing game a little bit later in the day today. I am excited to try that. Just a reminder, we're waiting for Johnny to pull this off. You wouldn't be able to tell if it wasn't for this tag, this QR code, but we can't get that little sticker off. We thought we'd let Johnny pull the screen protector off, just a little something to let him participate in the whole Model Y thing. So if you see that today, wondering why it's still there, that's why. Yeah, Johnny likes he really likes that feel of those screen things coming off when he
And I guess YouTubers for young kids, or for, you know, teenagers, they do stuff like that, and so he thinks it's cool.
So
he thinks it's cool, we think it's cool.
Yeah, it's not bothering me.
Don is letting Jules do all the work because, of course, we're very interested to see how Hardware 3, MCU 2, and you know, the latest software updates for those levels of hardware, how they work, how they're different than what we're used to with Ruby.
Right, and at this point, I wish I guess it lets me go a little bit faster over the speed limit on interstates, but these back roads, it makes you stick to the speed limit.
The actual speed limit, God forbid. Yeah, let's make the Tesla the slowest car on the road. Yeah.
Well, I would prefer if it would let us speed up a little bit because people are
backing up behind you. Yeah, so you may have to take over here just
I have to drive the car myself. Heaven forbid.
Goodness.
So one of our viewers was kind enough to leave a comment that the original Model Y performance EPA range was 280 miles and that there's a software change that has bumped it up to the 291 miles that's currently listed on the website. I did the math, and 278 would be 100% if 95% was 264. So that's really close to that 280 number. So maybe the calibration or the number of times charging or the software level or something is just not quite up to snuff with that. I just didn't want to leave anybody with the impression we were worried about the battery, because we're not. So there's a red light in front of us. She says stopping for traffic control in 500 feet, 400 feet, 300 feet, 200 feet. Turn to green, Dawn hit the stalk.
Yeah, but there's another one coming up, and this one I'm sure is
a longer light. Yeah.
So we'll probably end up having, well, plus there's cars here, so I probably won't.
So is this where we're supposed to pick up 27?
I don't think so.
Well, anyway, it says 27 is straight ahead.
Right. Alright, so she should stop.
300 feet, 200 feet, she says.
Yeah, but there's cars. I mean,
and there's lead cars, this is true. Now the light's green and she knows it.
Oh, I guess I did.
Is she still making you do that?
I just did it out of, but you're right, since it was green, we'll
and there's
find
lead
out.
cars.
Yeah, there's lead cars.
I did email Tesla service this morning just to ask if they had any idea on the hardware 3 MCU2 upgrade kit for Ruby, when it might be here. And that van kind of came toward our lane a little bit, got my attention. Yeah, the car moved. He moved. Apparently this guy can't stay in his lane. I would stay away from him. You and the car. So as I was saying, Tesla service, I emailed them this morning and they answered me and said, we just don't have a better update than the generic email updates from Tesla, which say it's still on order and not here yet. So obviously with the new tech in Jules, it's making me want the tech in Ruby even more. So it would have been great, I guess, if, you know, maybe it's better to spread out the joy. I don't know, but no word on when that's coming for Ruby, just it's still on order. So when that van caught my attention coming toward our lane from the right side, you felt Jules move?
Yeah, I felt, I did not move Jules over. Jules moved over by itself. So I'm very happy with that. That was nice. Yeah.
Way cool. It was kind of scary. He was really all over his lane more than once, but especially that one time. Yeah,
I wasn't trying to look, I was just looking straight ahead. I probably would have naturally moved over a little bit, but I guess by the time that he moved back, he caught himself. So, but of course the car reacted because it did, you know, it doesn't anticipate like a human would.
Yeah.
At least not yet. It doesn't quite have the perception down pat, but it will, I'm sure.
am trying to get the hang of how to do the window and open the door, up and down the window and open the door. So if it has a dash, you can touch it. No dash, don't touch it. This is the window. This is the door. Like other people, I'm having a little bit of trouble. And naturally, I want to touch the one place I'm not supposed to. Don has stickers to help me out, though. He just hasn't, and anybody else that gets into the car, but he just hasn't had a chance to put them on yet. So it's not my intention for every time we're in one car or the other car to be 100% comparing them back and forth all the time. We love Ruby. We're falling in love with Jules more and more every day. They're both great cars. Sometimes we might point out something that's different, but I don't want it to be a non-stop, I guess, comparison between the two. I'll just say today that sitting up here beside Dawn in the passenger seat, that I'm very comfortable, just like I am when I'm in Ruby. I'm not noticing any major differences in the seats. The seats are pretty comparable as far as I can tell. So the one thing that I notice about the interiors that's really different and it keeps on catching my eye is that this center console is black and it's not white. I'm used to it being white. That bothers a strong word. That catches my eye that it's different, more so than the glove box is black, whereas on Ruby the glove box is white. I know some of the other Model X that are white seats have the black like the Y does here, but Ruby does not. Ruby's glove box is white, so that's interesting. And I will say that when we had the Model 3 and we had the white up here, I was catching the reflection all the time in the windshield, and it was sort of annoyed me on the 3, and I am not, for whatever reason, noticing that in the Y. I don't know if this is tilted down one notch lower and that's why I'm not noticing it, or why, but I have not looked. I haven't seen the white show up in the glass as a annoying reflection like I did with the 3.
Lost track of the forest through the trees, forgot what I was chasing. Spent so many nights living out at sea that my heart is gone vacant. And everybody who was close to me all stayed on dry land. So now I'm driving back on Interstate West. I just gotta feel something. Not gonna wait till the morning, because something's gonna change my mind. I don't wanna change my mind. Oh, I wanna stay right here, chilling with my friends.
So we're in Benson. Very similar town to Fuquay, I guess. Pretty, you know. Okay, this one's gonna turn red, but you're just on traffic or cruise control.
Yeah, but
but she's still stopping. Yeah, she's still stopping. Now we want to know when it turns green on this new release of software, is she going to take off without you having to tap the stalk?
Yeah, but since there's a car in front of me, I think
it doesn't count as a test.
It doesn't. That's right.
Right, because the car in front cleared the intersection for you.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of it's a green light. It really is green go.
Go. Yeah, I understand.
95 North Ramp.
Yeah, we don't want to take 95. It's red. She's stopping.
Yeah.
It's now green.
Yeah, she stopped.
She's totally stopping. Nobody behind us, so Dawn. So you had to flick it.
I had to flick it.
Okay. So just to be clear, we put on 2020.24.6.9 last night, and I did not look at the release notes. So let me look at that. So it's just a rehash of what went on for the last update. So bug fix, apparently. I don't have the number of what's rolling out that doesn't require you to tap the stalk.
That's just not going to change.
Well, you know what? That was sort of not a good thing to test with because, too, coming up over the top of the crest of the hill.
Not my stomping ground.
Yeah.
So I took control. I didn't leave it up to the AI to figure that one out.
You are responsible for the vehicle, so
Yeah.
you did good.
So, Sweet Pea, have you figured out what we're going down to Sampson County for?
No,
No?
I have no clue, actually.
No clue.
No clue.
Well, I promise, sweetheart.
I'm along for the ride and I trust you, so...
That's right. You won't be disappointed. I promise. Ooh, that was
I mean, my best guess would be ice cream. And down in the...
Sampson County? Why would you think ice cream in Sampson County?
well, because you'll go anywhere for ice cream.
Well,
my
now that's true.
my second thought process is barbecue.
Right.
Because we're in that right part. Well, there's no bad place in
there's
North
no bad
Carolina for
that's right.
barbecue.
That's
That's
right.
my second guess.
I understand. Well, you know this girl? She's pretty smart. That's why I married. We're in Sampson County, baby. Woo!
Normally, we would just pass through this county on I-40 on the way to the beach.
That's right.
Yeah, Clinton, the destination is a city that you see on the way to the beach. Well, you don't see it, but you pass by it on I-40. I'll just say that we're both really comfortable in the car. We have the air conditioning set to 72, and I haven't felt warm or blinded or hot at all. It's felt very comfortable in the car.
Yeah, and the sun hasn't bothered me shining on my head. So I think you know, they did a good job with the tinting on the roof ceiling roof.
So we're on 701 South, headed into Newton Grove, and Don and I, both of us, we don't think we've been on this stretch of road before. We've been to Newton Grove, or at least Don's sure he has. I was wondering, it would be so cool if Tesla would produce a map of the penetration of roads in the United States that a Tesla has traveled down. We'll just say paved roads. We won't talk about dirt or gravel roads. It would be really cool to see. You know, when you're out on a road like this, you gotta wonder, has another Tesla been on this road before? Maybe this one, because it is sort of a more major road, but maybe not, because people are usually on I-40 and not on this little stretch here. So
yeah, I made a wrong turn and turned too quick before getting to 27, and we were on a pretty skinny, it was paved, but a back road, but I'd bet money that was the first Tesla that's ever been on that road.
of course, you'd need to be able to zoom in and zoom out on that map, but it would be super cool if they produced something like that we could see. Because I'm sure from GPS tracking, you know, they have the data. It would just be the time to produce the map. It's just a curiosity thing. Even if they would just release a % penetration of paved roads, it would be nice to watch that number climb.
Right.
Also be fun to go out there and try to help fill in some of the gaps. I can see day trips like, nobody been on that road before with the Tesla, let's go there today.
Yeah, maybe it would pop up and maybe not tell you ahead of time, but just say, congratulations, you're the first Tesla on this road.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Elon, I'm still waiting for my supercharger badging thing. Still waiting for the app that keeps track of my superchargers. Kyle and Alyssa are racking up superchargers all over the country, and they need to be able to get their badges. Cones, lots of cones. Yeah. Animation for barrels. Are we headed to the Dairy Queen of Sampson County, Donnie?
Jules figured it out. You showed the secret. Joel, bad boy. Gave it away.
Bad girl. I'm gonna smack him.
Right.
So besides the fact that it's ice cream, what's special about this Dairy Queen?
It has the oldest soft serve
Machine in the state?
In the southeast. It's like the oldest one. The oldest soft, I think it's the oldest soft serve machine still in operation at a Dairy Queen.
I like your choice of destinations, Donnie.
Right. You're welcome. Thank you, sweetie.
Now your
How in the world did we average 270 watt hours per mile? Well, I guess I'm used to Ruby,
That's right.
but it is 93 degrees out there.
Right.
I guess you didn't go too fast and there's not a headwind, but still, that seems a little low for performance.
Yeah, I would say the ground's flat, and I was driving because I was on autopilot almost the whole way, and it doesn't let you go faster.
Go ahead and put the car in park.
Yeah.
And the reason is because that will cause TeslaFi to cut a record and make this a destination, and it'll be easier for us to track the return trip.
That's right, since we're going to be here for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's smart thinking.
Yeah, when you go someplace and you want TeslaFi to make, you know, note of the destination and cut a drive record, you need to put the car in park for a short amount of time, really. It doesn't have to be more than a few seconds even. And then that'll allow us to check the elevation to and from. I suppose we were going downhill toward the beach, and on the way home we'll be going a little uphill. We're not really too far uphill in Fuquay. It's like, what are we, 700 feet above sea level or something in Fuquay?
Like 350, I think.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot, but it is a little bit. When we go back and forth to Farmville to the glass station,
it's noticeable.
It's a noticeable difference in one direction. The elevation makes a difference in the range.
That's right.
The nice young man who brought us out our treats, he knew it was a Tesla. He wanted to know which model it was. He was very interested. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And Don has his soft serve dipped cone from Betsy, the famous soft serve frozen ice cream machine.
That's right.
While we were sitting here enjoying our ice cream and watching the long line, which is good for DQ, we were reading a little bit more about Bessie, the oldest soft serve machine, believed to be still operational in the South. This Dairy Queen was on this location since 1953. They did suffer a fire in 2014, the Waffle Kitchen, not the Waffle House, but the Waffle Kitchen, which was an adjoining building, had an exhaust fan in the men's restroom catch on fire, and it literally destroyed that entire part of the building. And Waffle House rebuilt, and so
Dairy Queen rebuilt.
Right, Dairy Queen rebuilt, the Waffle Kitchen.
Bessie was not damaged.
And Bessie wasn't damaged, and she's actually been moved up to the front of the store. Because of COVID, we didn't go up to the window. We just, you know, followed the drive-through line and followed procedure. But
yeah, well, I would tell you, Bessie makes a sweet mix.
yeah, this mix is a little sweet, little sweeter than Fuquay.
Yeah, she does a really sweet job making the mix.
Till next time.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, you can still see the sign for the Waffle Kitchen.
Yeah. Guns.
There's the Clinton Water Tower. And Michelle, we're missing going into the pawn store over here. Although when it's got guns on it, I'm thinking that's
big
not
pawn. Not just the pawn store. That's the
I got
big
to have
pawn.
my girl with me if I'm going into the pawn shop. So, you know me and Don, when we go somewhere, we rarely come back exactly the way we go. That's part of the fun of it for us, is, you know, mixing up what we're seeing, the visuals, the road, the scenery. We're kind of taking 421 back a good part of the way.
Yep.
Which we did not do on the way over here.
Jesus, it really wants us to go all the way up to Wagstaff Road and turn?
On 421, baby.
Yeah.
So Don was just saying that when you get an EV, you should be prepared to do even more driving than you did when you had a gas car.
Yeah. I think we found out that, well, obviously it's, we enjoy driving, or, I mean, taking trips in it, or even if they're just day trips like we're doing. But when it's the cost per mile almost is irrelevant. I mean, 2 cents, 3 cents a mile. It's just so small. And the maintenance, you know, obviously the tires cost a little bit, but it overall is just, you know, not an issue. Plus, when you go somewhere, you can sit in the car and run the air conditioner. Like we ate our ice cream, running the air conditioner, sit back there at Dairy Queen.
Just as comfortable as could be.
You know, absolutely, in a gasoline car, you can do the same thing. And I'm sure everybody at Dairy Queen was running their air conditioning. And everybody was doing that, but the problem is it was burning up money as they were sitting there. Where, you know, it was.
Jules is stopping for this red light.
Yeah,
we were traveling a pretty high rate of speed, but
yeah.
She's seen it and she's stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we found out with Ruby that we just did a lot of pleasure driving.
Yeah.
You know, there's no thought process of, well, no, we got to go put a whole tank of gas in the car. I don't want to pay. I can see Dawn now going, I'm sorry, kitten, but I'm not paying $40 today to go put gas in the van or the GMC so we can take off someplace. Sorry, not happening.
Right. Well, of course, it's $1.80 something now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, honestly,
it's probably $30 to fill the van right now instead of $40. I remember when it was $65 or $70 there for a little while though, and we were all really suffering. I hope we, you know.
Yeah. And
that was bad.
Of course, you got your oil changes. You know, all that weighs in. You still have to change the oil every 5,000 or 3,000 or whatever you choose. You know, and that just eats
I mean,
into
obviously COVID has ate into our pleasure driving.
Yeah.
Because you know, Don would, and I really didn't know where we were going, and it was he did really good today. I told him he did really good all the way around. Really enjoyed the drive with him in the car, and the filming, and the talking, and the ice cream, and it was really he did great. But you know, COVID has really you know, curbed our get up and go a little bit, because there's no real place you can go on the other end, or at least for a little while there wasn't. Really right now there probably shouldn't be again, so no reason why we can't do stuff like we did today though.
Right, exactly.
And I'm sure there'll be more of that coming up. You know, we worked really hard this spring to put ourselves in a great position to start back on a regular school schedule this fall. And I don't think I said this yet, but Johnny is signed up for the virtual academy. Yeah. We had a 20-minute family powwow where we threw out all of the pros and the cons, and I think Johnny didn't want the stress of possibly getting any of his parents, including his father, sick. Yep. He was really, you know, cares about, loves us, and doesn't want to possibly get us sick. And he is an older child too, so you know, younger kids and COVID, I don't know, but older kids and teenagers and kids headed into college, that's a whole different ballgame than we're talking about way younger kids. So, and I think Wake County has ruled today that nobody is going to start back in person. They had this really elaborate plan B where a third of the kids would be in school for a week, and then they would swap out. So they'd get 1 week out of every 3. But I think they've gone back off of that. They still hope to go to Plan B later on in the year. So we signed Johnny up for the virtual academy. Yeah. It'll be the same teachers from the same school. It won't bring him out of his early college classification. Next year, it wouldn't keep him from taking his college classes would start for him. He's going to be a 10th grader, but in his 11th year as a junior, he would have the option to take college classes. So that's not going to affect him, and we'll just play it by ear going forward. But you know, one of the pros of letting Johnny do the B schedule would be 1 week in 3 driving back to downtown Raleigh. I don't miss getting up at 5:30, but I really miss driving in and out of Raleigh and stopping and taking pictures and doing some of the things I was doing. It's been a good trade-off of other things with Dawn and projects and sleeping in and just, you know, having coffee with Dawn on the couch in the morning. But I thought, well, maybe 1 week out of 3 I would have enjoyed driving in and out of downtown Raleigh again, and that's just not going to be happening. Johnny starts back August the 3rd. He starts back super early, so but we won't be doing the drive, at least not at the start of the school year. There's an option for starting the second half of the year in person. which I don't give that any chance of happening, because that's when typically flu and cold and sick season would be even worse. And when you can't tell if people have a cold or COVID without a test and waiting, and then right now the waits seem to be unreasonably long for the results, I don't see us going back in January either, but Johnny does have the option of in-person in January, so.
Yeah.
Our experience with the stoplights is that she's done 100%. She has stopped when she was supposed to.
That's right.
And then the one time last night with that pedestrian crosswalk, she stopped when we weren't expecting it, although she did notify us that she was stopping. So
I love this. This is 14 miles an hour to go across this.
Right.
Wow.
That was all her? She did that?
No, I think the crossing, I didn't watch the thing. But
she slowed down on her own for the railroad tracks?
It slowed down for the railroad tracks and stopped in the middle of the railroad tracks, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I have to review the footage.
Yeah, it felt like she came to a stop.
I'm just going to save clip.
That on the dash cam, yeah.
Right. That guy, of course, probably thought I was bigging him. I forgot I could do that over there.
It put up a red
probably
triangle.
Oh.
I don't know what that means. Well, Don and I are not used to that little yield sign with the exclamation point in it, but Don took his foot off the accelerator at the same time I pressed it, and I saw a glimpse of cruise can't brake right now because your foot's on the accelerator. So I think that was general warning messages, not that the dash cam wasn't working. And then Don, of course, as soon as he took his foot off the accelerator, the little symbol went away. So we were coming up to this light. It was green. Don tapped it to tell her to go. It turned to yellow, and she said, nope, sorry, I'm stopping. There wasn't anybody behind us. Don and I were both looking, and I wasn't an unsafe stop by any stretch.
It was a firm stop.
It was a, nope, I'm stopping.
Yeah.
It's really clouded up. I've gotten a lightning proximity alert, and hopefully we're not going to get caught in the rain, although, you know, in the summertime we knew that was a risk today. And the main reason why Don washed the car yesterday was to put the
wax on,
the protective coating on to protect the paint going forward. So it wasn't because, you know, we were trying to remove. Obviously we want her to stay clean, but it is what it is. Don's weather girl has routed him around the thunder cell. So we're headed back sort of toward Benson, which is east, so we can go north on 50 and come out near Michelle's house, and then come back over west from there back through Fuquay. And if we're lucky, this pop-up cell looks like it's not really moving. It'll stay where it is, which is Angier, Chalibet Springs, kind of that sort of area, and we'll miss it if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Well, we've done what we can do. It either works or it doesn't at this point.
Right.
So I'll roll the clip now, and we'll just talk over top of it. Don said, hey.
Yeah, I saw this. It was a road that came into this road at a pretty acute angle, and the stop sign was rotated where it was actually kind of facing our direction. I saw that and could tell that the car was going to have an issue with that. But we were zooming up at 55 miles an hour, full self-driving. Absolutely this road does not stop. This is the main artery. That was just some little side road. And well, we were literally 50 feet away from it. All of a sudden she slams on the brakes.
Yeah, she thought she was missing a stop sign.
And she put stop sign. And it's like, No, I knew she was going to do it. There's nobody behind it. We looked all that. I could tell. I told Marianne it was fixing to happen.
Yeah. And Don really hates that auto steer is restricted, and so he keeps on pressing the accelerator. Yeah. And then when he presses the accelerator, we get that little message where that little symbol. We don't have that in Ruby, right? Because we have the driver. Put your foot back on the accelerator. You made my little triangle go away.
Well, I'm sorry, it's over here.
Hang on. There it is. I just want to see all the messages. Cruise control will not brake. Oh, past notifications are other things. So there's like this history of these messages now. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say the X doesn't have that. There's no history of prior transgressions.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Oh, she gonna... No. Wow, she did good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't want to be thrown...
She didn't brake because my foot's on the pedal.
Oh, that's why she can't. See, she's trying to tell you she can't brake for you. All right, take your foot off now. I got them.
You told me to put it on.
I did, but so this car has history of transgressions. That's what I'm going to refer to them as. The X tells you that it won't brake if you put your foot on the accelerator when you have traffic aware cruise control or autopilot there. It makes it very clear in the driver display over here, not the center area. But then whatever that message is or whatever, I don't know how. I've never seen Ruby show a history of these messages that she's popped up.
Yeah, well, Jules and I are going to have a talk when you're not around, because what guys do
Whoa,
in
what
the car,
in the world was that maneuver?
What guys do in the car stays in the car.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, I think so.
I don't think so.
There we go. Only in rural North Carolina are you going to have this kind of excitement.
Well, that person had a handicapped plate up, and
she
was pulling into her mailbox so she didn't have to get out of the car. And I would not consider that a safe maneuver by any stretch, that what she did. But I guess I understand why she did it. Maybe she's not able to get out of the car and go physically get the mail. So, but maybe wait next time until there's not a Tesla coming head on at you. Maybe, just maybe. Well, Donnie, it's fair for you and Jules to have that talk, but don't be looking at the app or Tesla Fi when I'm out in the Y and I floored it. Don still, to my knowledge, has not floored the car.
I have not done, that's right. And I have to pee so bad right now, I'm not going to be doing it between here and home. It says there's a stop.
Yeah, I believe that time that she popped it up there before she knew about it. And this is a funky stop sign too. This is not a straight on T.
Yeah.
This is more of a Y intersection here.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with it today.
I have too.
I mean, do you have to keep an eye on nobody rear-ending you in case she decides to slow up? She notifies you she's slowing up. She's not ever once stopped and not said she was going to do that. But you do have to keep an eye to the back. But I've been impressed that she's correctly recognized every opportunity where she needs to think about stopping. And it's been clear sometimes she's done that based on map data, and then it's been clear other times that she's done it based on what she saw. So, pretty cool. Yeah, here's another one.
This is a relatively new traffic light.
Right. Yeah. This is right by my old house. Yep. She knows she's got to stop. Is there a pothole or debris?
It was a little pothole.
We are home free on getting around that storm. Yay!
Yep, she done good. My weather girl, she navigated us right around that storm.
Yeah, monitoring weather for you since 1991.
That's right. So on that entire trip, since last charge, we went 151 miles. It looks like. Used 42 kilowatts worth of energy. That's the average 278 watt hours per mile. You know, that was 55 to 60 miles an hour most of the way, so that's okay, I guess. But we're going to go some places tomorrow, so what we want to do is we want to set the charging up here. I don't really want to charge it up to that high. So we're going to charge it up to like 90% this time, because we do have a big trip. Marion wants to go someplace tomorrow, and I'm going to just, you know, set the current down, and we're going to call it 30 amps. That sounds good. We do the schedule. Start charging at, and we're going to set PM, and then we're going to do the thing 8, and then it's 8:45 p.m. Start charging that, and I think we're going to do. And so now we're going to go plug her in. So we're hopefully it's scheduled charging at this location, and it's going to charge at 30 amps. It's going to charge up to like 90%, because like I said, Marion's got us a trip planned for tomorrow, so I'm going to go plug her in. So I'm going to put the new flash drive in. I know you can't see, but I just stuck it in. It doesn't light up or anything like that. I'm going to make that flashlight down here. Maybe I can turn it on. So there's the new flash drive. So I'm going to come over here, and I guess that's security, safety and security, speed limit, safety, format flash drive, format, I guess that's it. I suppose. Save clip on Hong Kong. Sentry mode is on, except for excluded at home. I think we're good to go. That's just that simple. It works great when you have the right level of the software installed, you know.